Imagine stepping into a time machine and landing in an Ice Age forest. You're surrounded by towering sloths, saber-toothed cats, and massive mammoths. But lurking in the shadows is a predator unlike any other, a creature that has captured imaginations for generations. This is the dire wolf, a name made legendary by Game of Thrones and countless fossil discoveries. But here's the twist: dire wolves weren't wolves. Yeah, you heard that right. Stick around as we unravel the fascinating truth about these prehistoric predators and their incredible story. First off, let's clear up the size myth. Dire wolves weren't as colossal as their TV counterparts. Except for myth-making, Game of Thrones exaggerates quite a bit in terms of size. These animals measure about 20% larger than the modern grey wolf. Sure, they're nothing short of intimidating at a weight estimate of around 150 pounds, but muscular and large-mouthed jaws and specialized teeth made them perfect megafauna hunters of the ground sloths and Ice Age horses. But their legacy is far from being restricted to their dimension. Now this is where it gets wild. For ages, scientists believed that dire wolves were more or less relatives to grey wolves, as in bigger, badder cousins of these canines. However, they came to know a great deal from their latest studies regarding DNA. It turned out that dire wolves are neither wolves, tracing their genetic stock backlands around 5.7 million years in time from other canids. The thing is that at first sight they may look like wolves, but at closer inspection, they'll be as far removed from them as lions are from leopards. Mind blown yet? But what is most troublesome is that the finding of this genetic gap did not come by accident. Some 5 DNA samples were taken from fossils of dire wolves, and some even date from more than 50,000 years before, and were compared to modern canines. The outcome: dire wolves are on their line of evolution. Neither grey wolf, African jackal, nor even domestic dog ancestors. It is much fairer to say, completely different species. All that we have learned about these creatures will thus change. So if dire wolves are not wolves, what are they? They suggest an entirely different lineage, which corresponds to the Enochion virus, meaning terrible wolf. And really, they fit the bill. These predators had bone-cracking teeth, built to chow down on the thick hides and heavy bones of a variety of prey. Their evolutionary path diverged so dramatically from other canines that they could not even interbreed with grey wolves or coyotes, although both may have lived in the same territory. Talk about exclusivity. What's also worth noting is how dire wolves seem to have evolved in isolation. Their primary food sources, such as the giant ground sloths and Ice Age horses, were already disappearing by the time humans appeared on the scene. While grey wolves could adapt to changing environments, dire wolves seem to be particularly specialized, which may have been a disadvantage as new predators, like humans and grey wolves, entered their ecosystems. Evolutionarily, they were built for a very specific world, and when that world started to shift, they couldn't quite keep up. But the great thing is not the fact that they did not breed with one another. They found it to be happening more interestingly. In modern days, various types of dogs will find themselves predominant and hybridized as wolf dog or coy wolf. However, cadaver wolves were isolated from one another structurally. This would mean that a certain niche was so special that it left them evolutionarily very distant from their canine relatives. Kind of like Ice Age introverts who had their little groove at the mingling party. But what made dire wolves so successful in their time? Their physical traits played a big role. Not only were they bigger and stronger, but their skeletal structure hinted at immense endurance, making them efficient pack hunters. Paleo artists now depict them with reddish fur, a stark contrast to the dark, brooding coats of TV fame. This coloration likely helped them blend into their surroundings, whether it was dense forests or open plains. Their social structure may have been equally important, as their large packs could have hunted more efficiently, taking down massive prey like mammoths. The direwolf social structure is another fascinating aspect of their existence. Unlike modern wolves, which often rely on smaller, tight-knit packs, the direwolf may have hunted in larger groups. Some scientists believe their packs were organized for maximum efficiency when it came to taking down large prey like mammoths and bison. This would have made them even more formidable, as they coordinated their strength to overpower massive animals. It's a testament to their adaptability and survival instincts that allowed them to thrive in such a harsh environment. One of the most famous dire wolf hotspots is the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles. Over 4,000 dire wolf specimens have been pulled from this natural fossil trap. giving scientists an unparalleled look into their lives. These tar pits preserved not just their bones, but also a snapshot of Ice Age ecosystems. And yet, despite this wealth of fossils, the dire wolf's DNA remained elusive for years due to the harsh environment of the pits. It's like nature's way of keeping some secrets locked away. When researchers finally cracked the genetic code, they uncovered more than just the dire wolf's lineage. They revealed a story of parallel evolution. Despite their distant genetic relationship, dire wolves and grey wolves ended up looking remarkably similar. This phenomenon, called convergent evolution, shows how certain body forms, like the wolf's lean, muscular frame, are so successful that nature keeps repeating the blueprint. It's like reusing the same winning strategy in different evolutionary games. But every success story has its end, and for dire wolves, that came about 13,000 years ago. The reasons for their extinction are still debated. Was it climate change at the end of the Ice Age? Did competition from grey wolves and other canines play a role? Or maybe diseases brought by new species tipped the scales? The answers remain murky, but what's clear is that dire wolves were among the last survivors of a bygone era of megafauna. Interestingly, humans may have contributed to their extinction not by direct hunting, but by causing environmental shifts that drastically affected prey populations. The interplay between humans, other predators, and changing ecosystems could have sealed the dire wolf's fate. Another exciting avenue for researchers is exploring how the dire wolf's extinction could be linked to human activity. While it's uncertain whether humans directly hunted them, they likely contributed to the dramatic changes in the environment that impacted the megafauna. As large herbivores like mammoths and ground sloths went extinct, it could have thrown off the balance of the ecosystem, leaving the dire wolves with fewer prey options. The interaction between humans and other species during the late Pleistocene may have been one of the unseen forces driving the dire wolf's decline. Interestingly, dire wolves may have overlapped with early humans in the Americas. Imagine encountering these massive predators during a hunt or scavenging the same carcass. Did humans fear them, respect them, maybe even try to domesticate them? While there's no evidence of direct interactions, it's a tantalizing question that adds yet another layer of mystery to their story. Let's talk about their legacy. Despite their extinction, dire wolves remain a cultural icon. From their appearances in pop culture to their role in reshaping our understanding of canine evolution, they've left a mark that goes far beyond their fossilized bones. Scientists continue to study them, hoping to uncover more about their lives, their extinction, and what they can teach us about surviving in a changing world. So what's the takeaway here? The dire wolf wasn't just a bigger version of today's wolves. It was a unique predator with its own evolutionary story. From its specialized bone-crushing teeth to its genetic isolation, this creature stands apart as one of nature's most fascinating experiments, and while it may no longer roam the earth, its story continues to evolve with every discovery. Thanks for joining us on this journey through time. If you enjoyed unraveling the mystery of the dire wolf, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more prehistoric tales, and let us know in the comments what other Ice Age creatures you'd like us to cover. Until next time, stay curious.